Use of the inhibitor mask. We do have a ribbon called YMCKI, where the eye, which is looking like an overlay, but actually it's not an overlay, it's an inhibitor, and the inhibitor is like a coat of varnish which will be transferred from the ink ribbon to the ink transfer material to avoid portion of the ink transfer material to go onto the card. The main usage of this inhibitor is to avoid to have some ink transfer material to be deposited, for example, on a smart card or on the magnetic stripe on the card. When you do have a card which has those two features, so again smart card and the magnetic stripe, and if they are in the front for the smart chip and in the back side for the magnetic stripe, you can go directly to the driver and select the inhibitor location for the front for the smart card and the inhibitor for the back side for the magnetic stripe. If now you do have a card which is out of this, I would say, common area, common feature, like for example a card where on the same side you have a smart chip, you have a magnetic encoding, and you have maybe a signature panel, then instead of using the driver, which does not have such a facility, you will have to create a mask. And the mask is basically a portion of the card design which you design, for example, using paint or whatever, and when you will use it from the driver location, automatically it will avoid to have the ink transfer material to go onto the card. So to create one, I would say the best is probably to use something simple like paint. And then the only thing you have to do is the image to set it up with the attributes as a 1024 by 648 pixels, and you save it in black and white. Just click OK over here. Now you just take your rectangle filled in, be sure you are on black, and then you just have to draw your magnetic stripe, for example, over here. If you do have a smart chip contact, just over here, and let's suppose finally a signature panel just over here. When this is done, you just have to click File, Save As, put it somewhere on your hard disk, and then just give a name like test, for example, and then save it in BMP, and you just save it. This has been done a little bit quickly. It doesn't mean that the three areas are exactly where they should be on the card. So here, one of the best solutions is to print using this mask, and you can print directly from the test print from the driver. You don't need to use anything else for that, and you just compare on the printed card if those three rectangles are where they should be on the customer card. If they are not, just use the selection, take for example this one over here, and then you can move it around, or eventually if the size is not correct, for example, you can just increase it, whatever. So once you are done, and it's probably a trial and error a couple of times, just resave again, and you can close now, and then you are ready to apply your mask.